Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
And just like that, the final day of 2024 so far has not been very kind to the SEC. Hi, everybody. Terry Norvelle coming to you live from our Tuesday home. You know it by now. We are set up live inside Hurricane Jointon Creek. You know where we're at, deep in the heart of Mandarin. Come by, say hi if you're heading home from work. Hopefully you did not have to work. Hopefully you're somewhere in the area. And if you are in Mandarin, you know all about Hurricane. Best kind of just fun hangout community, sports bar, restaurant, just cool place right here at the foot of the Jointon Creek Bridge. We're here from 4 until 6 today and every Tuesday. We'll have a lot of people coming on. We'll have Trenton Torsia, our buddy, who comes on a lot during baseball season. Trent is in the house. We're going to sit him down for a couple hours and talk some ball with Trent. A lot of college football, as you can imagine. Alabama today really did not compete against Michigan. What an ugly performance as we welcome Patrick Young to the show. Pat, I'm sure you saw that. We'll talk about that game. South Carolina is currently playing, and then we have a big one tonight. But my goodness, Patrick Young, Alabama just did not show up at all. What a miserable performance to go 9-4. That will not sit well with Alabama Nation. Even though it's Kalen DeBoer's first year, bad performance by the Crimson Tide today. They lose.
I'm for Kalen DeBoer because he had a chance to do something Nick Saban hadn't done and can't do it again. Nick Saban did not get 10 wins in his first season.
No, not at all. He went like 7.
Awful, man. Yeah, what was that?
Alabama, I mean, they I thought they may come back and pull it out. They lost 19-13. And, Patrick, the last drive, Alabama threw the ball, I guess, in the end zone. It looked like they may pull it out, but as the game unfolded, I think you'll agree, as we welcome Trent Torsia to the show as well. Trent, we'll get you hooked up on that headset and make sure you can hear everything. Patrick, you saw it, and Trent, we just watched it here. Here, okay? I'm good. Everything good? 1, 2. 1, 2. Even had, and Trent, I'll throw it to you first. We're talking about Alabama, the ugly performance. They get beat by Michigan today, moments ago. 19-13. Alabama really made a last-gasp drive, and it kind of looked like they may score and win 20-19. Even if Bama had won, quote-unquote, the game, that was an ugly performance by Alabama from the opening kickoff, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was uninspiring. And,
Very.
We talked about it earlier. They were 16.5-point favorite
At one point,
going off. So, I mean, you look at that, you go, because those guys are pretty good. When they pick the lines.
Sure.
And you look at Alabama, and they probably had the hangover of, we're not in the college football playoff.
I guess.
Well, where's the pride factor?
Where's the pride? And, Patrick, you watched the game. Obviously, you watched it at home. That was a ugly performance. And you got to ask yourself, if Kalen DeBoer, did I spend an entire season and I never quite reached my players? Because they did not play for their first-year coach today at all, Patrick, at all.
Yeah, you're right on that. I just wonder, they look back, and I'm sure they still relive losing to Oklahoma. That's something that definitely has, spoiled this class this year for Bama, losing that game and losing to Vandy, even though Vandy's a really good team. Gosh, man, it just doesn't look good, man. In general. My buddy, he's a diehard Bama fan, and one of his coworkers said, "How does it feel to get back into the mix of mediocrity?"
Wow. Wow. And you know what? If you let's pull Alabama's season out. They finished the year any way you slice it or dice it, they were 9-4. By modern Alabama Nation standards, that doesn't cut it. They were not only 9-4. They lost to Tennessee. No shame in that. Tennessee's a good football team. They made the playoffs. Yeah. They lost Vanderbilt. Okay. Vanderbilt is a 6, and then they won a bowl game, a 6 or 7 win team. Vanderbilt's a neat story. They're still Vanderbilt. Okay. Yeah, so right. They lost to Tennessee, no shame. They lost to freaking Vanderbilt. They got bombed by Oklahoma, who finished the season under 500. Oklahoma wasn't very good. And
I got whipped in their bowl game.
They absolutely did. And I know that this Michigan team, think about Michigan, their last 2 games, they've beaten Ohio State and Alabama. Not many people do that in modern football, but you can say what you want. That's not a really good Michigan team. So Alabama got beat by Vanderbilt, a bad Oklahoma team, and a totally rebuilding Michigan team.
Mediocre.
In addition to Tennessee. And boys, Bama Nation is not going to digest that well. And I know he's only 1 year in. He's not on a hot seat at all. But your boy Kalen DeBoer, the next 6 months, the offseason, the Bama barbecues he's got to go to, and the Bama booster clubs. Hey, it's going to be an awkward 6 months for Kalen DeBoer. They're not used to 9-4 and getting embarrassed. Those weren't 4 1-point losses, boys.
Yeah.
You saw
them. And they had not lost 3 games since 2010.
Ooh.
So here it is, a long time where you go, how do we just fall off a cliff? And I realize, because everybody says very hard to follow the legend, right?
Sure.
How are you going to do it? But he wasn't left an empty shelf either. I mean,
no, there's good players there.
They were great players.
There's good players in Alabama.
It's Alabama.
Patrick, how do we judge? And I'm going to throw this on you and give you a second, I hope, to digest it and spit out your answer. How do we judge now? Alabama finished the year 9-4. They lost 3 games that you just don't think Alabama does. Okay, Tennessee is a playoff team. I can digest that one. They're 9-4. How do we judge what Alabama did that certain Saturday night in Tuscaloosa when they beat Georgia? Georgia made a hell of a second-half comeback. Was that a fluke? You almost have to call that a fluke win for Bama over Georgia way back when. Patrick?
No, I don't want to say that, because
okay.
This is the ebbs and flows of football, and then you look at the games after Carson Beck had his performance. The second half of the season wasn't very good or convincing enough for me to agree with that all the way. You never knew what Carson Beck you're going to get.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, a fluke in the sense of Alabama scoring so many points so fast.
Early, yeah, in the first half.
Yeah. Like, when did they do that again? 28? Was it 28-0 to start? At one point?
Yeah, it was. 28-0, right? Alabama was up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, though.
I can see 14-0. That seems like something that could be a lot more realistic for an Alabama team.
On the road to Georgia, for Georgia, yeah. I will say this. If you're the Georgia Bulldogs, you do this right now. Thank goodness. This is Georgia talking. Thank goodness we made the playoff. How bad would Georgia feel if the Alabama loss had kept them out of the playoffs, and then they had to watch Alabama lose not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 games, and then Georgia would go, how the hell do we lose these guys?
Yeah.
How did they keep us out of the playoffs?
Well, then you look at it now and you go, what would that have done if you could play today and roll back the tape and go, how's that strength of schedule look now?
Yeah, not a good look today. And I know South Carolina, it was 7-3. It was 7-3 Illinois the last time I looked. We're going to try and track that game. I think it's on here. South Carolina's taking on Illinois, another SEC versus Big Ten. That was a bad look today. That was a bad look for Alabama and a bad look for the SEC. Michigan is in rebuilding mode. Now, they're trying to rebuild to become a top 5 program again. I get it. They're not terrible, but this is not the Michigan team that won the national title a year ago. This is a shell of that team.
Well, no, I mean, they lost a bunch of people, too. They had, I forget how many starters, but it was almost, I think they lost all of their linemen, the offense and defense. If not, they lost
which
one or two.
You're making, which is why Alabama should have won.
100%.
I mean, this is a bit of a rebuilding. And when I say rebuilding for Michigan, again, they're trying to rebuild they're going to finish 12th in the country. They want to finish in the top 3 in the country. Right? Yeah, it was an ugly loss for Alabama. And that was an ugly loss for Kalen DeBoer. And you guys know, I'm telling you, I'm going to go back to this. That's going to be a hard 6-month offseason. Kalen DeBoer's got to go to Opelika, and he's got to go to Muscle Shoals, and he's got to go to Birmingham, and he's got to go to Mobile, and he's got to go somewhere in Tuscaloosa. It's not going to be pretty to lug a 9-4, and they got embarrassed in a couple of those games.
and the first question is going to be, what happened in the bowl game?
Yeah.
Especially for the people. Think about the people that pay to travel.
Yeah.
And lodge and do their thing. And they, every year, and I'm not talking about the big time alumni. I'm talking about the, Bama faithful.
Yeah. The guy that's making $60,000 and a weekend trip is a lot of money for
It's
him.
going to be a bowl game.
Yeah.
We want to go to the bowl game.
Yeah.
Especially in Florida. Right?
Yeah.
It was in Tampa. So,
yeah.
That's a nice trip.
Yeah.
And you go down there and you go, what?
The other thing you ask yourself is Jalen Milroe has played a lot of football at the high college level. He regressed this year.
Yes,
and you got to ask Kalen DeBoer. Obviously, Milroe won't be the quarterback. Either he will go ahead and I think he might have a year left. He'll leave, or Alabama will ask him to leave. It's just time. Brent Beard said that. Brent's close to that program. Not to put it all on Milroe. Sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's stale. I think that's why Carson Beck is leaving Georgia. But you've got to ask yourself, if you're one of the people that gets the first question to Kalen DeBoer in Muscle Shoals at the Alabama Club on a May 12th, Coach would ask you, a little concerned that you took over Jalen Milroe, and we saw him over his career single-handedly beat LSU and single-handedly beat Auburn and it looked like he regressed under you, Coach. Do we have a quarterback coaching problem here? I mean, right?
I just don't understand why would you, as a new OC, it seems like their offense was just so different from what they did last year. I know a different coach, different all that, but why make what he did really well something that you don't utilize as much?
Yeah.
I don't know. The offense was very confusing.
It happens even in the NFL. The guy comes in and says, we're going to do these, we're going to make wholesale changes. And it's like, wait a minute, you got to understand what your personnel is first.
Yeah.
And work from there. No, I think Patrick, great point there.
I'm intrigued now. I got thinking a little bit when this game looked like Alabama was going to. You know what? I don't want to say everything Alabama has done and everything Nick Saban's done is now washed under the bridge, but I will say sports can have your perception in sports can change quickly. And Georgia, they got beat early in the year by Alabama, but they kept it together, and look where they're at now. They're in the quarterfinals. They're the SEC champions. They're in the quarterfinals. I know they're missing their starting quarterback, but hell, I think I'm going to pick Georgia to win tomorrow's game. With that said, Georgia is still on the top of the SEC mountaintop. I was thinking as this game was unfolding today with Alabama, I go, they're 9-4. They're going to have 4 losses, it looks like. They haven't had 4 losses in 100 years, like Trent said. And the word invincibility, I go, you know what? The rest of the conference saw Vanderbilt beat them. The rest of the conference saw a sub-500 Oklahoma beat them bad. Tennessee is a good team. They beat them. And Michigan just outfought them. You wonder, next year, is the invincibility a little gone from that name, Alabama, when they come to your place? Or we got to go to Alabama. I think they have lost a little of their invincibility with this season. I know it's one season, but Georgia's still on that invincibility mountain. So I don't think the fear of Bama is going to be there like it has been for 12 years going into next season.
There's no question about it. And I think, everything's cyclical. I think you might look at Alabama every time a legend left.
Sure.
They just fell off a cliff.
And it's hard to do. I get it. It's hard to replace those guys.
But it's still Alabama.
I agree.
It's like, okay, so there's a little bump in the road. But what did you – again, I go back to you didn't clean the closet out and say, you got nothing. I don't think Saban put recruiting or anything like that. So you certainly, with the whole NIL thing, they've got money and they're spending money. And to your point, the quarterback went backward.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Patrick. I know they've got Ty Simpson, who's played a little bit of ball there. He's a high recruit at Alabama quarterback. I know he's there. Watching the quarterback play this year, if you're Kalen DeBoer and you're Alabama, you right now, and I kidded around on social media during the game, you got that quarterback bat signal up in the sky. Your bat signal for quarterback is in the sky, and it goes back to Tuscaloosa. They're looking for a portal quarterback. I don't think they're comfortable just handing it to Ty Simpson who's playing a little bit. I think if I'm Alabama, I'm looking for a polished portal quarterback. What say you, Patrick Young?
I'm trying to think who would be the right fit.
I don't know who, but a plug-and-play guy. I don't think they're going to just say, well, Ty Simpson, you've been here 2.5, 3 years. I think Alabama goes, I don't want to get caught like that again.
You would like to – what's the guy's name at Syracuse, quarterback?
Yeah,
McLeod.
McCarthy or McLeod or one of those guys.
You would love to get a guy like that. I think they only got him for 1 year, but
I didn't bring it up to have an actual name. I brought that up. If you're Alabama,
it's the reality.
I think you're saying we need to go find a guy that we think we can plug and play at quarterback and take that position off the board.
Right.
They got bad quarterback play.
And I also think they have bigger problems than that.
Yeah, their offensive line is not Alabama-esque.
Yeah. Where's the running back?
Their running backs.
That, you know,
it's funny you said that. Patrick, I was texting Brent Beard during the game today and all year. I've texted Brent Beard probably 10 times. I go, Brent, it's still shocking to see Alabama football without a difference maker at running back. They just have guys at running back. They're just guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to see Derrick Henry and
they're 5-star recruits, though, aren't they? Maybe just not.
I don't care what star they are. They have been underperformed. I think Justice Hayden's left before the bowl game. They had nobody that wowed you. And when is the last time Alabama football hasn't had a running back that scared the bejesus out of you every time they handed the ball to him?
Yeah.
Good point.
Every time. I don't care if it was, and I don't care if the guy flopped in the NFL, but it was Trent Richardson. It was Mark Ingram. It was Derrick Henry. It was on.
Eddie
it was on.
Yeah, it was.
Those guys Alabama ran out this year, they were just guys. They were luggers. They just lugged the football.
With a subpar offensive line, too.
Alabama, that is not a traditional Alabama offensive line.
I mean, I can remember Saban saying, well, you know, Coach, am I going to play this year? Well, that's up to you. You know, and they're 3 deep with offensive and defensive linemen that are all NFL caliber players. And then you roll that out there. I'm with you, man. You're going to go to these alumni functions, and people are not going to be happy.
Ooh, it's going to be a tough offseason for Kalen DeBoer.
They're going to want answers.
Patrick Young, let me throw this to you. With that performance today for Alabama, with their 9-4 record, with their ugly loss to Vanderbilt, with their ugly loss to a bad Oklahoma team, if you're Florida State, you open up with these guys, does that give you a glimmer of hope now? Right?
Yeah. But
when Bama rolls into Tallahassee week 1?
Answers yes and no, because you know, they still have to take care of their part recruiting side and get their quarterback of next year, and he's not a flop.
I agree.
Yeah, because I mean, as bad as Florida State was, it's hard for me to believe they're going to be able to turn into a 7-win team.
Yeah,
like that. But it is possible. It is possible.
You feel better today. You feel better today if you're a Seminole fan, knowing Alabama rolls in game 1 to refurbish Doak Campbell. You feel better today than you felt yesterday, right? When you saw that,
you feel better, but you got your own issues to address too.
I agree. I agree. So here's Alabama, and tell me about invincibility. I'm just going to run through their schedule next year. They play Florida State in Tallahassee. They open up the year. We know that game is set date-wise. Florida State is unveiling their stadium. They're renovated. They've got Louisiana Monroe. Okay, that's a win. Wisconsin. They play the return game with Wisconsin. Alabama went up there and beat them pretty bad this year. Wisconsin just watched that game and said, hey, wait a minute.
We got a chance.
Hey, wait a minute. We run with Michigan. Let's see if we can. So they play Wisconsin in Bryant-Denny, okay, in Tuscaloosa. They got an off week. They're at Georgia, okay. Vanderbilt comes in. That's going to be a payback game, but that's in Bryant-Denny. Hey, Alabama is at Missouri, and love him or hate him, your boy Drinkwitz, he doesn't fear anybody. He's got that attitude. You've got to go to Missouri if you're Alabama. Then you entertain Tennessee back at home, and Tennessee beat you last year, and Tennessee thinks they should have beat you a couple times in a row.
And I don't think Tennessee's going backwards either.
Then Alabama is at South Carolina. We all think they're going to continue to be something. Yep. They've got a little program called LSU. Oklahoma should be better, and at Auburn. And Auburn's either going to be a lot better or they're going to be looking for coach again.
But it's still Auburn.
But is the invincibility gone? Alabama, and Patrick, you've lived it. You've certainly lived it, Trent. I've watched it. The Saban era, just call it 12 years or what have you, 15 years. There were many games when you're 7 minutes before kickoff and your team runs onto the field the final time, right? You've already stretched, gone in, you've come back, you've come back for the last time. The teams are lining up for the opening kickoff, Alabama versus who the hell ever. And you may as well already have that scoreboard say 7-0 because it's freaking Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama. It's 7-0 and the game hadn't kicked off because look at that crimson helmet. Look at those crimson tide elephants coming on that field. I think that and it goes quick. That's cracked a little bit. I think that's cracked a little bit, boys.
I still think you have to go back to being a 16.5-point favorite.
Ooh.
And losing.
Ooh, it opened up 16.5.
Yeah,
ooh.
Just squeak one out, and it actually opened up lower, and all the money started shifting because it was going toward Alabama. And it's like, well, we got to. I think it went from 14.5 to 16.5.
Yeah,
and you lay an egg. I mean, they laid an egg.
What I'm describing happened at Florida a couple years after Maya. After they were done winning national titles, it only takes a couple years before you see the Floridas of the world getting handled.
Yeah.
And it's almost like when the 7th grade bully finally goes out at lunch break on the playground and gets beat up. He doesn't do the beating up. He gets beat up. Well, a lot of guys think they can beat him up from then on.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's where Alabama's at right now.
And you've said this for years since I've been with you. One bad year can cause you 4.
Oh, goodness gracious. If you don't get a hold of
from a recruiting perspective.
If you don't get a hold of it. Patrick Young, what are you doing? You got Mario Kart. What shirt is that? What do you got going on there with that shirt? I don't know if I like it. What do we got?
You don't like Mario?
I don't know.
How do you not?
I got to see who it is. What is it?
It's just Mario Kart since '92. My sister got it for me for my birthday a few years ago.
Right. Okay, I like it. Okay,
yeah. I'm not doing anything bad. I'm not doing anything wrong.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I got football up here. We're good.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. So
is Trivia Pat coming today?
Say that again.
Do you know if Trivia Pat is coming today?
I hope he is. I've got some trivia. I can throw a couple out now if you want.
I think you should throw some out. This is a good time.
All right, I'm gonna throw a couple out here. I'm gonna save 1 or 2 good ones for Okay, I'll give you guys. We do trivia on Tuesday sometime, non-sports, sports, whatever. All right, Patrick Young, Trenton Torsia. I'll give you 10 years.
I think my mom said.
Give you a 10-year leeway. Is that Benita?
Yeah.
Benita want to get in on. All right, I'll give you 10 years leeway. You ready? 10 years either way. And this is a very apropos trivia question for today. Today is New Year's Eve. Tonight is New Year's Eve night.
Yeah,
can you guys tell me within 10 years, one way or the other, what was the first year that New York City had a New Year's Eve ball drop? I'll give you 10 years. Either way. 10 years. What year was the first year? They've had it every year since. Tough one. I'll give you 10 years.
We can kind of think out loud, Patrick.
Yeah, okay.
I'm thinking it's got to be like.
My mom says she thinks 1965.
1965. Okay. That's
Benita's.
That's so weird. I was thinking earlier.
That's Benita, 1965.
But
Patrick, you want a number? I'll give you 10 years either side. 10 years.
I'll go
20 damn years.
I'll go 1940.
1940 is PY. Mississippi State University. Man, is that even? Do you get a diploma from that place? Or you just say, get the hell out.
Actually, I do have one. It's in my closet, but it exists.
All right, Ti.
I've got to go. I kind of like the era Patrick's coming from. I'm gonna say 1936.
1936. So we've got 1965, 1940, 1936. Benita, PY, and Trent, TI. You guys are not even in the ballpark of this bad boy. 1907. 1907, fellas.
Wow.
You know what I was thinking?
1907.
You're not gonna believe me. My first thought.
Here we go, folks.
My first thought was 1912.
1912. You would have got it, right?
I know, but
Patrick, 1907. They've been dropping this bad boy in New York City.
it was influenced.
Wow.
Can you imagine being in that big crowd? Patrick, what happens if you're in Times Square and you got to go to the bathroom? What do you do if you're in the middle of that million people in there?
It's probably like New Orleans. You know why that is.
Why New Orleans? Why Bourbon Street smells so bad?
You just
Every day.
go?
You don't like. I've had relatives go to that.
I've always wondered about those huge concerts when there's like 250,000 people out there. And what do those people in the middle do if they got to go to the bathroom? What do they do?
You're never gonna
You want to go that bad? You get out of there.
But I mean, what if you have to go to the? Do you take your girlfriend or wife, or do you sit? Well, I mean, what do you do?
Oh yeah, right.
What do you
Because
do?
if you don't go together, you never get back.
You're never going to find her.
Yeah,
She's never going to find you. What do you seriously? What do you do with these?
yeah.
big
Gotta go together.
Oh, and man, I don't know. Anyway, how about 1907? How about that? 1907.
I honestly was thinking 1912.
So is Ryan Seacrest still the guy that took over for Dick Clark? Is he the? Yeah. Is he
Guy
still?
does everything.
Does he do it still?
He does.
Yeah. All right.
There's actually a couple different shows.
Is that right?
He's doing one of them.
He's the main one. Right. What was he like? ABC? They're the main ones. So, I haven't stayed up to watch that in years, and I will not stay up to watch that. Unless the football game takes me that late.
8 overtimes or something.
Yeah.
7:30 game.
It shouldn't be that.
No.
As a matter of fact, let's take a break. First break of the night. Let's come back here to Hurricane Georgia Creek. It's a good day of college football. The Alabama game, obviously, if you're a Bama fan, and it wasn't a good day, but Alabama and Michigan played 2 good ones.
Yeah.
South Carolina, SEC, Big Ten, Illinois, they're going at it. Pretty good day. Let's take a look at the games today, and of course the big one tonight. Let's break that down. Penn State, Boise State. I'm not sure why they're called Boise State. Boise's not a state. There's a trivia question. Why are they called Boise State?
Actually,
Anyone?
Great point.
Anyone? As we look at Jax Vegas, would you look at Jax Vegas?
Gorgeous.
Word has it, within 2 weeks, it's going to get frigid around here.
Is that crazy?
Did you hear that?
What?
It's supposed to get frigid around here.
They're talking about snow in the Panhandle.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Take a break. We got a long way to go. Just kicking things off. A lot of college football to talk about here. We got trivia coming up a little bit later. That and a whole lot more. It is a Tuesday edition. The Norvelle Show comes to you live in Mandarin from Hurricane Georgia Creek.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 143-2579.
We've got a couple of 9-3 teams doing battle in the Citrus Bowl as that game just momentarily has gone to the half. South Carolina just missed a final play field goal at the end of the first half. Illinois will head into the locker room leading South Carolina 7-3 as we welcome you back to the Young and Norvelle Show. He's Patrick Gill. I'm Terry Norvelle. The SEC already today is 0-1 against the Big Ten as Michigan, that's right, Michigan upset Alabama 19-13, really in a game that Michigan dominated, I think, Patrick, by more than that score. But, boy, South Carolina, I don't want to take anything away from Illinois. South Carolina looks very sluggish. They've only managed 3 points going to the locker room. That would be a tough start today for the SEC, wouldn't it, Pat, if they lose Alabama and South Carolina?
Yeah, certainly. I really want South Carolina to be a program that's come back and is redeemed.
Yeah.
We would hate to see them lose that momentum with this game. I think both teams are playing everybody. You know, Zach obviously wants those things to be doing. What do you always call them? Buzzards?
Those South Carolina buzzards. They call them game. I think it's a bunch of buzzards. Trent, you went over to get a soda pop. South Carolina misses a field goal, final play of the half. They go to the locker room trailing 7-3. This will be an ugly back-to-back loss for the SEC right out of the gate on a Tuesday night.
And Beamer's been hot all day.
The whole game he's been mad. Have you seen him, Patrick? He's been madder than hell all game.
Yeah.
It's I think it's a pretty good day though, guys. The last I saw in Louisville, Washington, that game's going on as well right now, getting late. That was tied late. We'll try and get that score. Alabama lost to Michigan. Louisville, Washington wrapping up their game. South Carolina, Illinois at the half. Baylor, LSU, a 3:30 kick, so they're about an hour into their game. And then tonight, boys, we need to talk about this ball game. Penn State in the Fiesta Bowl taking on Boise State. Kind of the little guy gets their chance. David and Goliath a little bit. Obviously, Boise State is the little guy. I know they've tasted a big bowl here and there, but the group of five is all behind Boise State. Honesty,
as they should be.
And I'll throw this to you, Patrick and Trent, and please be honest here, as you always are. If you're like me, honesty compels me. I have not seen a lot of Boise State. I know they've got the running back. We all know about Genty, and he runs for a lot of yards. We all know they don't play a big-time schedule. We all know they lost one game to Oregon way back in the beginning.
Was a close game, by the way.
3-point game. Brent, I'll throw it to you first, and then Patrick. Have you seen much of Boise State?
I've seen the highlights because they play at 10:30 at night.
Absolutely,
so it's hard to. That's that typical West Coast thing where you don't get a lot of exposure. And now I'm not saying he should have won the Heisman Trophy, but I don't think he got enough run for what he did.
Right.
But
now,
I think the key is you just load the box on him, make the quarterback beat you.
What do you think that's, Patrick? What do you think State just says, hey, 7-8 in the box to start out with, and just our guys are bigger and stronger than your guys? Isn't that the approach?
Yeah, I think you challenge them. You say, hey, we don't think that you guys are anything without Genty, and we're going to shut him down.
Yeah.
I really don't think they have a chance against this.
For Boise,
he's also, when you load the box like that, he's one missed tackle away from being gone.
One missed tackle away from being gone.
You've got a short tackle.
Yeah.
And gang tackle or whatever you want to call it.
Is this one of those games where Genty, I don't mean garbage yards if the game's over late in the game, but in real time, Genty's got to go. He's got to go north of about 150 for them to have a chance.
I don't think there's any question.
Yeah, he's got to have a 150-yard game for them to have a chance.
By the way, they're 11-point underdog.
Yeah.
Not that these lines have mattered anymore because South Carolina's a 9.5-point favorite. And they're getting beat.
I want to go back to what you just said, Trent, and Pat, I want you to comment on this as well, if you don't mind. You just mentioned Boise State, and your phrase was, they may not have gotten a lot of run. They are Boise State. We know Genty. He's sexy. He's a story. But their team hasn't gotten a lot of run. Let me ask you this. If they had the same season, but they did not have a bona fide Heisman contender, would they still get the good run that they got? Or would people be going, Boise State, they can't be eating up a spot? Did Genty, being a Heisman guy, they could have gotten the same production if they had 3 running backs splitting all those yards or 2 receivers that they threw it around real good. Did they get maybe, and the game will determine it probably tonight, did they get too much run as a team because they had a special play? Is my thought.
Well, I'll say this.
Well, they won the game too,
Yeah. What I'm saying is if they had the 12-1 record, they won the games, they didn't play great competition, and they didn't have a national sexy guy. You could still go 12-1, and they had more of a spread it out team rushing attack, spread it out team passing attack. Would they have gotten as much run nationally as they have because they did have a Genty, a national guy?
With the new format, you mentioned the Power 5, so it's or the non, non-Power 4, whatever, group of 5. Sorry, they were the best. You could call it what you want. Were they the best of that group? And I would say yes.
If Central Florida, no, they're in the Big 12 now. If
you're going back to that,
whoever's in there, UNLV, they got beat twice by Boise. They were pretty good.
Yeah,
they played them in the championship. If UNLV was the 12-1 team, group of 5, highest ranked, and they had just a team that didn't have a superstar, I think the nation will be going, how the hell are we giving UNLV a spot in the top 12? Did Genty get Boise State too much run is what I was asking. If I did a poor job of explaining that.
I don't think too much, but he got him enough, right?
Where the hell did he come from, by the way?
I don't know.
I didn't know him until late August. Pat, have you ever heard of Ashton? It doesn't matter, but had you ever I have never heard of Ashton Genty until probably August 31st of this year.
Yeah, we did not talk about him at all going into the season.
No, and good for him. What do you think happens tonight, Pat? I think Penn State, when the game matters, I think Penn State will hold him somewhere 80 to 110-ish yards, and that won't be enough. I just think Penn State will be too big and strong control the line of scrimmage. What do you think happens
If
tonight?
they control the line of scrimmage, then I'll believe in their running game. That means they're going to be able to hold. I don't see it being a high scoring game.
Yeah,
because if it's a possession type matchup, Penn State's going to just run the ball nonstop.
Yeah,
Drew Allard, he's okay.
He scares me. He's the one that can scare me. Aller, the quarterback for Penn State. Yeah. I could see Penn State and James Franklin spending the last 10 days. By the way, this is a problem. There's too many days between the games.
They've already said
you lose momentum. But can't you see Penn State the last 10 days on the practice field going, guys, all we hear about is how they run the football, and they've run it down everybody's throat. And this guy, he sneezes and gets 200 yards. Guys, not only are they not going to run it on us, we're going to shove the ball down their throats. That's what I think is going to happen tonight.
It's Patrick's point. They're the more physical team. I think he come out with physicality right from the get-go. And let me flip the script.
Okay.
James Franklin.
I know.
He's got.
Devastating loss tonight if it happens.
2-10 in his career versus top 10 teams. 2-10.
And tonight,
that's not good.
Tonight, if Franklin loses another big game, he's not losing to 12-0 Michigan tonight. Say what you want. Tonight would be a devastating James Franklin loss in a big game, right? To Boise freaking State.
Yeah, I mean I don't think it's going to happen.
Nor do I.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Nor do I.
Hey, if the quarterback can't beat us, we're going to win this game.
Yeah.
To Patrick's point, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I mean, I think 11 points. If you're a betting person, which I occasionally am, I might take that number because it could be like a 20-10 game.
Who's you got, Guido? You got Guido in the he's got Guido in the back alley flashing his lights, right?
I always say I reference Hard Rock bets.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick and I got messing around this year, and I actually have a Hard Rock bet and some money on it. And Patrick and I have done our picks. Patrick, I want you to chime in. It's hard. God Almighty.
It's hard.
My God, they know what they're doing in Las Vegas.
It's unbelievable.
They set those Patrick, those spreads and all. Oh, Patrick, help me.
Man,
help me, Patrick.
That's why I stay away from it. That's all you, Terry. That's all you, Terry.
On
Patrick, it's a couple bucks, man.
On my Hard Rock, first time I've ever done it, and I started it and I put money. I have put a total of probably, you got to put your own money on it to bet it. I've probably put $200 total, and I've lost. I'm at zero. Patrick, it's hard, man. It is freaking hard. I may put a few more dollars just to have fun during the holiday here with the big games coming up. Patrick, Trent, are you a Hard Rock guy? Do you have an account?
I do.
Are you up, down, middle? What do you think you are? All in all. Can you check your total? I think you can.
I know.
You can tell how much you put it on. Okay.
Well, I know what it is right now.
What is it? Your balance, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you open a Hard Rock, can you go somewhere and say, I have put $1,000 total over the last 3 years on it, and I've lost 980, so I'm plus 20. Can you find all that?
I'm going to try.
Patrick, I've only done it so small. I know I've put about $200 of my money, and I'm at zero, so I've lost $200 freaking dollars. It's hard, Patrick.
I believe
Patrick, have you ever done one, Patrick, the actual account?
No, sir.
It's hard. It is hard, Patrick.
I'm going to stay away from it.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you.
What do you think you are?
I'm probably
up, down, even. Be honest.
No, I'm down, but I'm not down a lot.
I mean, not $1,000.
No, like
a couple hundred here and there.
No, not even that.
Oh, nice.
No, it's a $2 bet, a $5 bet. I don't go crazy.
I'll tell you the thing I've learned.
What I really like is those boost bets.
I don't do any. I don't understand all that yet, so I'm learning it, Patrick. Cool. I'm learning it. I have learned this much though. You're not going to get anywhere just doing one game, put $5 or $10. You got to do the parlays. And Patrick, the parlays will make you mad because I'll do like $10 or $15 and pick 4 games or 5 games. And then Patrick, I'll hit game 1, I get it, game 2, game 3, and you miss game 4, and that kills everything.
That's done.
You got to hit them across the board, Patrick.
Yep.
But if you hit them, you win. Because I don't want to bet $5 on one game and a spread, and if I win, I get $7.20, so I made $2.20. That's too much stress for $2.20.
But
that's too much stress for $2. Yes, I couldn't agree more.
No, it's like
Pat, you hear what he said?
It's
but
too
it's
much
actually,
stress for that little bit of money.
It is.
I would rather take the $15 and make 3 bets.
Okay. Yeah.
And just because I mean parlays are very.
Man, all you got to do is. And how about this?
Parlays are for suckers, Terry. That's what I've heard people say.
Is that right? Because, I'll do the other way. I'll do a parlay, say a 14 parlay. I'll put $15 on it. And right out of the gate, if you miss the first game at noon, you're done. You're done. And
Well,
you're like,
then you start chasing.
and then you're really done.
Yeah.
Then you're really done. Hey, I want to switch gears real quick, and we can take this to the top of the hour, into the second hour. I want to qualify this topic. And please hear me, because a lot of people out there have selective hearing. Please hear what I say right now. I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying the NFL franchise in Jacksonville is going to move. Okay, what I'm going to bring up, as a matter of fact, with the new stadium coming, the NFL franchise in Jacksonville is tethered to Jacksonville for at least 30 years, I would say, right? So please don't say Terry said the franchise is moving. No, no, no. I'm going to throw this out at you guys, and I mean this. I wouldn't bring it up if I didn't. If Shad Khan absolutely fumbles again, and if you look at his history of hiring coaches and general managers, he has flopped miserably. See Gene Smith he kept. He was terrible. Dave Caldwell. Dave Caldwell was just a guy. Trent Baalke. Nobody would have hired Trent Baalke.
Yeah.
Doug Marrone and Gus Bradley and Urban Meyer and Doug Peterson. Shad Khan has absolutely flopped. With that said, and I mean this, if Shad Khan, if his next go-around, and he's got to either hire a coach, a general manager, or both, right? If he flops again, does Jaguar Nation have it within their rights? Should Jaguar Nation go, hey, we need to band together and say, Shad, it's time for you to cash out. Not move the franchise. Cash out. You bought for $750 million. It's worth $4 billion. We want you, I don't know if it's a petition of 100,000 signatures, but Shad, if you fumble again coming up in a few weeks or months, whenever it takes to hire these guys, if you flame out again, please, God, we appreciate what you've done. You're going to bring us a shiny stadium. Cash out. Give somebody else a chance to run this, because you know auto parts and you know counting money, but you don't know how to run a football organization. What say you, Trenton Torsia, first?
Well,
I say yes.
He's been hands off. So he hires the guys. I say no, because what he's done for the community.
I'm fine with that.
He has pumped a bunch of money
I'm
in there.
fine with that.
And you always run the risk of new ownership coming in and moving them out of Jackson.
No. That's why I put these caveat, Patrick. I said they're not. The organization is not leaving because of the stadium. The stadium has the franchise tethered here. That's off the table. But if he stumbles again, I think Jaguar Nation is well within their rights of uprising so much, saying, Shad, cash out, man. Sell it to somebody else. Get your profit. Thank you for helping us get that stadium. Take all your billions you're going to make just from owning it, because you bought it $740. It's worth $5 billion. Let somebody else try it. You have fumbled so bad. That's what I'm saying. The franchise is going nowhere. Patrick, what say you?
I don't know.
I don't like your start right there. I don't like your start right there, Patrick.
I was just thinking, when you're listing off and naming all those coaches, it definitely made me think, just Yeah, that was bad. Yep.
He's shown no idea how to run an NFL franchise.
Like how many of the former head coaches got OC jobs or DC jobs or what quarterbacks jobs after they left?
Hell if I know.
Jack Del Rio, he got.
I think Gus Bradley's coordinating somewhere.
Yeah, Gus Bradley. Like that is a statement in and of itself.
Well, why is he hiring coordinators and not head coaches then?
Well, actually, let me go this way with it. How many teams get it right in the league?
I mean, how many chances do you get?
No, but how many teams get it right? You got Pittsburgh, you got Baltimore, you got Kansas City.
I guess.
Think about that.
Okay, here we go. You guys ready? Here's Shad Khan, the brilliant automobile parts guy, the brilliant billionaire, the brilliant businessman, but I don't think he knows what the hell he's doing when it comes to running an NFL franchise. All right, here are his head coach hires. You ready? Mike Mularkey, 2012, hired shortly after Khan purchased the team, fired after one season. So, Shad, maybe you should have not hired him. His second hire, Gus Bradley, 2013 to 2016. Record 14-48 across nearly 4 seasons. Fired late in 2016. His third hire, boys and girls, Doug Marrone, for God's sakes, 2017 to 2020. Interim head coach, final game of 16. Made permanent in 2017. Leading the Jaguars to the AFC Championship game. Woo! Fired after 2020. His fourth hire as a head coach, a guy named Urban Meyer. We know how that ended. Didn't even make a season. His fifth hire is about to get fired, Doug Peterson. So there's his head coaches. Okay. Shad Khan, his hires or retentions at general manager. Number one, he retained Gene Smith, who didn't know what the hell he was doing. Gene Smith didn't know what. He then hired Dave Caldwell from 13 to 20, kept him on about 4 years too late, most people think. And his third GM hire, nobody in the league, nobody at the local YMCA would have hired Trent Baalke. But he hired him.
I agree with that.
Guys, disaster hires. If he bombs one more cycle, does Jaguars Nation have the right to say, hey, man, we got to get your attention. Sean, we love you. Let's look in the stadium. It's the stadium of the future. We love what you've done. You've tried hard. You're building a beautiful hotel. You have helped us get that stadium. You don't know what the hell you're doing around the football team. We want you to cash out and sell it to somebody and give him a try or her a try.
Well,
I say yes.
Okay, but I think you can say that all you want. And
yeah.
Who is going to force him out?
The fans.
Wow.
How about a if they get $100,000 signature, a huge, and say Shad, but
the military, how the fans like ultimately get him to even consider selling the team is if you don't go to the games. Stop buying.
Cash out, Shad. Cash out. What do you say? I wasn't listening.
Fans just don't go.
Yeah.
Just
go sign a petition. You know,
if you really feel, if there's a number of people feeling that strongly.
But the big argument here, though, the reason I threw this on the table, if he bombs again, another cycle, what was that, 4 or 5 cycles he's bombed with head coaches? Yeah. He's bombed 3 times with GMs. If he bombs again, isn't it time that somebody or some group of body says, Shad, my man, cash out, grab your $4 billion, $3 billion, and let's sell it and let somebody else try it. You have shown well over a decade, you know car bumpers, but you don't know NFL football. And I'm being serious with that.
I understand that.
I'm being dead serious with that.
So I would meet somewhere in the middle. Surround yourself with more football people. So maybe you add another level of senior leadership.
Now, do you then say, I'm going to fire my analytics son? Because the analytics son has been a bomb down there.
He can stick with wrestling. I mean, and I'm being serious there too.
Okay.
Yeah. So stick with your, I forget what it is, but stick with the wrestling piece. Hire another. You've got the money to do the resources to do it. So you hire whatever it is, a president of football.
Yeah.
And then you hire a GM. Here's the problem with the GM and the head coach. And this is across the board. If they don't jihad, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And there are so many instances where the GM and the head coach don't agree on personnel.
Now I'll give it.
It becomes a train wreck.
I'll give this to Khan, and I know this. I'm well aware of this, but it is what it is. Shad Khan / the Jacksonville Jaguars, they don't get the pick of the litter. When it comes to head coaches, there's a pool of guys right now, because I'm already considering Peterson's done, and the Jaguars are looking for a head coach. There's a pool of coaches, and there's a pool of general managers that are quasi-available. The Jaguars don't get to pick the litter first, right? They're just not that franchise. Nobody's tripping on themselves saying, we gotta say yes to Jacksonville first. It's not considered the cream of the crop head job or GM job. Would you agree with that? They don't get to pick the litter.
Okay, I would agree with you. However, if you're looking for a GM and a head coach, what kind of shape are you in as an organization?
They're in a terrible shape.
I'm going to tell you right now. I made notes on this. I listed.
What do you got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams that do it right year after year.
Okay,
after year.
Let me hear them.
Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, San Francisco, Baltimore.
Yeah.
Maybe Seattle, but then they got rid of Pete Carroll.
Right.
So if you start looking around the league, listen, I'm a Miami Dolphin fan, diehard my whole life.
KC, Buffalo, Baltimore, who else? Pittsburgh.
San Francisco.
And San Fran. Yeah, San Fran's ravaged by injuries, so I can
right.
live with that.
But so I look at that and I go, I'm a Miami Dolphin fan. And I'm like, Ross, do the same thing. It's the same situation. But then you look at the stability, like in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin's been there, I think, 17 years.
What have they had, like 5 coaches ever? 4 coaches ever?
3 or 4.
Yeah.
4. He
4
might
coaches,
be the 4th. But he's never had a losing season in 17 years. Now, they haven't won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Patrick, question to you. If Khan makes his hires, and let's just assume he's hiring a GM and a head coach, if he makes his next round of hires, and we're sitting here 2 years in to his most recent round of hires, and it's the same old, they're 6-11, they're 7-10. Do you then say, Shad, can you please cash out and give somebody else a chance? At what point do you say, give somebody else a chance, Shad? You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing.
He'll never let that, especially with the new state. I think it's impossible.
Yeah.
Only the fans will have to blackmail him by not going to games. That's the only way.
Yeah.
Stop spending money on Jaguar stuff.
I don't know anybody in the bowels of these offices over there, right? But so I don't know yes or no, but I know for a fact, because it's public knowledge and visible, that he's bombed with his head coaching hires and his general manager hires. I don't know if he's inside that stadium, in the hallways, in the offices. Obviously, there are other high-level jobs that aren't head coach GM. I don't know. Has he bombed on those hires too? I don't know. Has he done great hires as the right? There's obviously high-level guys underneath head coach GM.
Yeah.
Has he done good? But at some point, does Jaguar Nation go, Shad Khan, my God, you've made so much money off this franchise. You've stabilized it here. You are part of the reason that stadium's being built here, and that is tethering this franchise to Jacksonville for at least 30 years. That's all great, great, great. You deserve to cash out. We want you to cash out. Let somebody else try. You have not shown any aptitude for running a franchise. Right?
No, it's hard to argue with. I understand, but
Pat, I'm making you think today, buddy. I'm making you think, Patrick.
No, you're not.
No, you don't like thinking.
You don't want to let it go. It's not going to happen, Terry.
Okay. All right.
Look how long it took James Dolan to finally sell the team.
I don't care.
At least everyone likes Shad Khan.
That was
ridiculous. I think the look at how long it took is a weak argument. That's almost like saying, let me finish. That is a weak argument, just like saying, well, you know what? I've been in a terrible marriage, but across the street, they're in a terrible marriage too. So you're going to stay in a bad marriage because across the street they're in a bad marriage? I think that's a terrible argument, Patrick. That's a terrible argument, Patrick.
Trent, what do you think?
You have a master's
is it a terrible argument?
I don't think so.
You have a master's degree, Patrick. That's a terrible argument.
We just need somebody in the middle here.
I'm not in the middle. I'm actually
Terry thinks he wins debates.
That's a terrible argument.
Terry thinks he wins debates because he'll ask you the same question multiple times, and then he'll
different ways.
Different ways.
Right?
He'll talk fast.
So are you?
He'll talk fast.
Hey,
just body punches.
Hey,
yeah.
You're like,
so Patrick, are you saying right?
If you Patrick, if you had to fight Terry, you'd have to kill him.
I'd be gnawing at your leg.
Oh my gosh. Just like he was as a hitter, I would have just hit
foul
him.
Ball.
I would have hit
foul
him
ball.
in the ribs.
Foul ball. Foul ball. Foul ball.
Yeah, I would have said, if you want to get on base here,
hey,
I'll just
listen,
hit
you know what? I do want to apologize to you, Patrick Young, Trent and Torsia. I want to apologize. I'm sorry. My JU education is making you guys think this hard before a holiday. I get it. You don't want to think this hard. It's the day before a holiday. I'm sorry. I put my thinking cap stays on, okay? I don't know about you guys. I don't even know if you guys own a thinking cap. My thinking cap stays on, Patrick. Okay? What are you watching?
Kid here for LSU. He broke his ankle.
What's going on with that game? Give me an update.
It's 28-14 probably now, but yeah, this kid he went in for the tackle. Baylor had it on the one, and then he got that terrible way when you get bent backwards and their foot gets caught in the turf and all that pressure snaps it. That's exactly what happened.
So LSU is leading Baylor 28-14 late in the first half. So that could be an SEC win. South Carolina.
The dad, they got the camera on the dad.
Ooh, not good.
No.
Louisville has a nice lead over Washington, 35-21 in their bowl game. South Carolina is still trailing early in the third quarter, 7-3. Illinois. Brett Bielema, good coach. SEC guy, Big Ten guy. LSU, like I said, now 34-14, so they're pulling away. And then tonight, you've got Penn State, Boise State.
So both Louisville and LSU are underdogs coming in.
Is that right? Okay.
Not big ones.
Okay.
I mean, Louisville is 1.5, and LSU is 3.5.
Okay. I like it. I'll tell you what, let's take a break. We've wrapped up hour number one. It's flying by. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Let's look at the games tomorrow, guys. We got three really big games, playoff games tomorrow to talk about. We've kicked around Penn State, Boise State a little bit. I still want to know why it's called Boise State. Boise's not a state.
Yeah, we're going to have to look that up, maybe.
Penn State, Pennsylvania State. Ohio State, Ohio State. Florida State, Florida State. Why Boise State?
Why you forgot Mississippi State?
Mississippi State. Forget Mississippi State.
Okay.
Boise State. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. That is not a trivia question yet, though. We're not throwing that in there. We've got trivia coming up at the bottom of the 5 o'clock hour. Terry Norvelle, Trent Torsia, Patrick Young, and you on the other side from Hurricane, Jointon Creek.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Rick's Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Rick's Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Rick's Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
There you go. Jack's Vegas, a little cloudy today. We are supposedly in for some really, really cold weather. I think it's in a couple of weeks. Supposedly a really frigid cold front is heading our way. So get ready for that. Not so bad right now as we welcome you back. Our Tuesday home, of course, you know it by now. We are at we're, of course, at Hurricane here in Jointer Creek in the heart of Mandarin. Well over 30 different flavors of wing sauce. When you got wing in the name of your place, you know you do it right. And they have a ton of choices. They also have burgers and different sandwiches, things like that. If you're not in the or somebody in your party may not want wings, they may want a little different. They got a very diverse menu here. Josh and Callie, the owners and operators, they are hands-on too. I think that's very important when it comes to trying to create a community atmosphere, and they certainly have that here at Hurricane in Jointer Creek, deep in the heart of Mandarin, and we certainly appreciate our relationship here, the Young and Norvelle Show, with Hurricane. We've been here, gosh, all of football season and are just cruising through, heading toward the college championship and the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Hurricane, Jointer Creek, our Tuesday location. We really enjoy being here. Trenton Torsi is running around here somewhere. We've got Patrick Young somewhere. We'll have some trivia of our own. We do some fun trivia with Trivia Pat, who is here every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. He has a trivia show if you're into that kind of stuff here at Hurricane Jointer Creek. So we always try to sit him down for about 20 minutes. We'll do that and have some fun. Let me update everybody on bowl games going on as Trent joins us back here. Looks like 35-28 now. Washington has closed that 14-point deficit to 7. against Louisville. That is getting very late. We'll track that ball game, Trent. South Carolina has the ball about 11 minutes remaining in the third quarter, so they still got a ways to go, Trent. South Carolina still has only mustered 3 points. Illinois leading 7-3 in a slugfest. Baylor and LSU, they are almost at the half. LSU has put up 34 in the first half, Trent. By the way, Garrett Nussmeier coming back for LSU, that's a big deal. That quarterback's played a lot of college ball for LSU.
No, it's
been
a
around.
Huge deal. And I tell you what, LSU is one of those programs.
Yeah.
They better get it done.
Yeah.
By the way, South Carolina just scored.
Did they just score a touchdown? Yeah, Carolina is in the end zone.
Run.
36-yard run, 5-play drive, about 59 yards, a quick drive, and Carolina lining up for the extra point. This will be, I think they were ahead 3-0. Then Illinois went up 7-3. Now 10-7 South Carolina. If you are just tuning in and have been busy all day working or doing family stuff, Alabama lost today. I think that's a big deal. That was a Michigan, though they had a big win over Ohio State to close the regular season. That was a big win. That kind of played into the reason I thought, well, Alabama will take care of those. Michigan just wrapped up their season. They knocked off the hated school, Ohio State. Michigan, I watched most of the game. I don't know if you did. Michigan took the fight to them.
Yeah.
Michigan was the aggressor. Alabama sleptwalked through 3/4 of the game, I thought.
Well, and to your point earlier, Miro he was not sharp at all.
He was terrible.
And is that coaching? Is that execution? I mean, I don't know what the answer is. Did they care? Because you know how they're young men, and you have to be leaders of young men. They didn't make the playoff. Did they just mail it in?
Yeah.
And that could very well be the case. And if that's the case, that's pretty sad.
Well, think about, and I'm too lazy to pull up everything. Think about some of the stinkers Alabama's thrown out. That was a stinker performance today. That Oklahoma game was that right before the Auburn game? I mean, if that was,
no, it was earlier in the season. Actually.
No, they got beat late, didn't they? Wasn't that late? Let's see. Where I'm going with that is, if that was, and you may be right. Let me take a look and see when that Oklahoma-Alabama game was. November 23rd. So it was right before Auburn. So basically, where I'm going with this, 2 out of the last 3 games that Alabama's played football, they've turned in terrible performances.
Yeah.
Oklahoma bombed them. By the way, Oklahoma didn't beat them on a field goal. Remember the game?
No.
Oklahoma ran it straight down Alabama's throat that night in Norman. They got by Auburn, and then they stunk it up against Michigan. Alabama, Kellen DeVore, good luck doing the circuit in the summer. The Alabama fans aren't going to be happy.
No, they're not going to be happy. And good luck to the guy that takes over for a legend, too. You know, we talked about that a little bit earlier. So it's like
he got paid handsomely, but woo.
Well, and woo, you look at it and you go, he was in the wings or whatever, and I think, I honestly think Saban left prematurely just based on all of the things going on now with NIL and transfer portal. And having to recruit guys that you've already got in your program daily, it's just too much. So I don't know, man. I give him one more year, and if he has another 3 or 4 loss season, they're going to run him out of Tuscaloosa.
I'm just piecing this together. Now, this is Alabama. That's Alabama. The last 15 years, they have been the dominant program, more dominant than Georgia. I mean, they were doing it 4 or 5 years, 5 or 6 years before Kirby got things going at Georgia.
Yep.
Here's Alabama. They finished the season 9-4. Well, keep in mind, they beat Georgia September 28th, game number 1, 2, game 4. So Alabama beat Georgia in the big SEC showdown at night in Tuscaloosa to go 4-0.
Yep.
And they were second, third, whatever in the nation. And at that point, just think this through now. 4-0, 4 games into their season. Alabama, new coach, everything is hunky-dory. They're 4-0. They're ranked in the top 4. They're on their way to the playoff. No doubt about it. Okay, after Georgia, they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the bowl game today, 9. Alabama just went 5-4 in their last 9 after Georgia.
What if you do that at the beginning?
4-0.
No,
5-4.
Yeah.
That doesn't cut it now, Alabama right now.
And that's the thing. If you look at it from that perspective, it's no bueno. mean,
no bueno.
So it's like, you didn't finish strong. It's one thing to say, okay, you lose early, and you got a chance, and you figure some things out, you rebound. But to your earlier point, the quarterback went backwards. So
after the Georgia game, Milroe was in everybody's top 3 Heisman.
And then
and this thing went 5-4 after the Georgia game. 5-4 after the Georgia game.
I know we talked about it earlier as well. You don't have a feature running back. What happened to your every year? Alabama had a running back in the Heisman
and an offensive line
at least
mauled
conversation.
People. Mauled people.
Yeah.
Ryan Williams, the receiver, started out red hot. Gosh darn, I haven't heard that name. Ryan, the receiver.
Yeah.
Because Alabama's offense and their passing game went downhill. Their offense, that's not Alabama's offensive line, right?
No, it's not. But here's the thing, too. Think about this. If you don't have an offensive line that's performing, you don't have a running back that's performing, how is the quarterback?
Play hard.
Balls
Play
right
hard,
on there.
Milroe.
Yeah. Good
Play
luck.
hard.
It's 3rd and 8. It's 3rd and 12.
Yeah.
That's
tough,
3rd and
man.
27.
That's hard.
Go ahead and get it done.
Thinking ahead, and this is way, way, way ahead, but I think I'm going to hit this on the screws here. SEC Media Days, July 2025.
I know where you're
At the end of the Media Days, there's always the vote. And the media doesn't get it right very often, but the vote, Georgia will be voted 1. It's generally Georgia, Alabama, Alabama, Georgia. The last, 12 years?
Yeah.
You can just blindly, it will be Georgia 1. It will be Tennessee 2. Alabama will probably be 3, but maybe LSU. How about, when's the last time Alabama wasn't preseason media prediction top 1, 2, or 3 in the SEC? And they could be out of the top 3.
I'm going to say 15 years at least.
Woo! Son.
Just think about it. Like I said earlier, the last time they had 3 losses was 2010.
Don't forget. So Alabama will be, the media will be voting on, now they can do something in the portal, but there's going to be a new quarterback in Alabama. Ty Simpson's there, or some portal guy. Tennessee, I say, is going to be Georgia will have a new quarterback, but Gunnar Stockton, he may show out the next 3 games and win a national title. We'll see. But Georgia brings enough back. They'll be number 1. Nico, I don't think he progressed, but Nico returned for Tennessee. When you try to get a vote, a preseason vote, people go toward returning quarterbacks. Nico comes back. Garrett Nussmeier comes back at LSU. LSU bring back talent. Sellers, everybody's darling. If South Carolina wins this game, they come back and win.
Yeah,
everybody's already in love with South Carolina, right? They had a great year. He comes back. Some guy named DJ Lagway, some people think is going to improve greatly. He comes back. Alabama, they may be picked as down as they've been picked in years, for whatever that matters, right?
Well, it doesn't, but it does. 5th or 6th, maybe? Are you thinking that?
I think 3rd or 4th.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be out of the realm if somebody says, hey, man, Georgia 1, Tennessee 2, LSU's got nothing but talent. They had a 3 with the quarterback. South Carolina, my God, you saw what they did. Florida and Lagway 5. Would that be either Alabama? Well, they don't have a line. They don't have a quarterback.
No, and speaking of South Carolina, I just think they're sneaky, like becoming elite.
Yeah.
Don't you?
By the way,
everybody
thought they would be the end of the at the end of the SEC. They were. I can't tell you how many national guys picked South Carolina 16th out of 16. Myself and Brent Beard, we both. South Carolina's gonna be terrible. That quarterback's a receiver playing. They proved a lot of people wrong. Now, was it a fluke? They looked like they played really good football. They lose one of their defensive ends. He left early, but they get the other one back.
But is it a fluke winning 9 games in the SEC?
I don't know if it is.
It's not a fluke.
I don't know if you can fluke your way to 9 wins in the SEC.
No, and they didn't play like the bottom of the SEC either. So
no. Was this a fumble or down? Hard to say.
It's close.
South Carolina had the ball. They're up 10-7, got the ball back, but Illinois thinks they've got the ball around midfield. SEC with the loss, Alabama was 5-4, which is nothing to be ashamed of. 5-4. They've got a couple games going right now, right? LSU's playing. South Carolina's playing. And the SEC still has a bunch of games left. They've got, obviously, Georgia tomorrow. They've got
Texas.
Ole Miss. Texas still plays in the playoff.
Ole Miss is 17-point favorite.
Ole Miss,
by the way.
yeah. Is that right? And
Yeah.
Duke's quarterback left, which you wish Malik Murphy would have stuck around.
Hey, so
how happy are you that you got the FSU quarterback? Mississippi State. They got Crumhawk. I like him.
5-star guy.
I
You
like
can say
him a lot.
whatever stars don't matter or whatever.
I
but
like him a lot. I certainly like him better than Thomas Castellanos, who FSU gets from Boston College. Ugh.
And you and I talked about this earlier or yesterday, whenever it was. He was a 5-star guy, but he's from Mississippi. So the state of Mississippi.
Yeah.
And gets out of Florida State
Yeah.
for whatever reason. And, we can speculate that all day long. But why doesn't he go to Ole Miss? Because I think Ole Miss has solidified the quarterback situation there for at least the foreseeable future. I think it was Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I think that's a great draft.
I think it's a great. When they last lost Van Buren, I went, damn, I don't like that. But then a couple days later, I go, whoa, okay. Maybe they said, I think Luke Crumhawk can play. The guy from FSU.
Yeah.
I think he can play. Have you seen him play much? I think he's a good
No,
player.
I know. No, I've seen the film on him, and when you talk about Van Buren, I'm like, I've got a couple buddies who are, big donors there or whatever, and
Yeah.
I'm not, by the way, but
Sure you are.
I go, why did
Sure you
Van
are.
Buren leave? One play $5 million.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
it's a lot of money, but it's not
Yeah.
like in NIL terms for a quarterback. And I thought that guy had a future, but it's okay. You move on.
Yeah. Interesting.
I got a couple things.
Okay.
Texas.
What about him?
Well, what if the starting quarterback struggles?
We've talked about that. We've talked. I think what's going to happen at Texas in their quarterback room just happened at Georgia in their quarterback room, and Brent and I talked about it about a week ago. You knew Beck wasn't coming back to Georgia if Gunnar Stockton is there, and vice versa. Stockton's a 5-star guy.
He's good.
And what if Stockton plays well what if they keep winning? So you knew something had to change. Beck packed up his bags and left. I don't see Quinn Ewers, if his people say, man, you need to show a little better play on the field. I don't think Texas will want him back. I think they're going to say, hey, man, you've had the keys for 2 or 3 years. We're giving the keys to Arch Manning. We're not going to run him out of here. I think Ewers goes pro, even if he and his people don't think that's the best move. The last thing you want to do is get beat out at your existing school.
But they talked about him transferring too.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So when you look at that, you go, what are you going to do if he has a miserable first half or first quarter tomorrow?
Yes.
And then you go, well, hey, because there's already a controversy.
Yeah.
And how much pressure is on him? Which when you look at it, you go, it's interesting you say that. If you can't play under pressure, under scrutiny, you can't play at the next level because that's all that is.
Obviously, the perfect thing for Texas is Ewers quarterbacks. They roll through, win a national title. Texas pats him on the back. He says, Texas, you've been good to me. I'm going to the NFL. And they hand the keys to Arch Manning. The last thing they want to do is run Arch Manning out of there. They've got not just monetary. Texas has invested a lot. The last thing they want is Arch Manning to go star playing college football anywhere other than Austin.
I'm going to say this.
Right?
I am very, very surprised how patient Arch Manning's been.
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of people thought last year he may make a move when Ewers came back.
But I also, if you look at his uncles
and
his grandpa, they might have said, listen.
And Peyton came back, and so did, they were long-timers.
Just pay your dues.
Yeah. People were stunned that Manning came back. Peyton came back his 4th year. He played 4 years.
Yeah.
And people were stunned. He was ready. He went back to Tennessee. LSU's opening up 34-17 on Baylor. Louisville still leading Washington 35-28, but it looks like Washington first and goal inside the 10. So that game is tightening up late in the 4th quarter. Halftime is that LSU Baylor game. We told you Alabama lost today to Michigan. That's a nice win for Michigan. And Sharon Jones, the new coach, took over for Harbaugh. He lost a lot of players. Michigan wasn't going to be in the national title hunt. This wasn't a bad year for Michigan. It was expected they were going to lose a few games.
Yeah.
They went out and beat Ohio State again. How about in modern football, I don't think many people have either played or beat back-to-back Ohio State, Alabama. Michigan just beat Ohio State and Alabama back-to-back in modern-day football. That doesn't happen all the time.
Hey, by the way, speaking of the Ohio State loss to Michigan, I heard an interview with Ryan Day.
Okay.
He said losing to Michigan was one of the worst days of his family's life.
Really? Expound on that.
Imagine that. So he goes, for me personally, about the only thing worse was losing my father. And then my immediate family, my wife and kids, we lose to Michigan, and the torment was beyond measurement. And he said it was miserable, completely like one of the worst things that ever happened.
Fans, that's taking it too far. Isn't
That's too much. I mean,
well, you know that you know the Kurt Herbstreit story with Ohio. I'm just going to say Ohio State fan.
Yeah,
Kurt Herbstreit. You know, his job, he has to pick who he thinks is going to win and this and that. And this was probably 10-ish years ago. And I'm just saying Ohio State fan in general.
Right.
He was living in the state of Ohio. He went to Ohio State. And, you know, he's beloved there. Was or still is probably by rational people.
Yeah.
But, you know, he would say on his talk show, as Monday through Friday talk show host, you know, you can't always say sugar and spice and everything nice, or people don't take you serious. Wait a minute, you're just being a homer.
Yeah.
It got to the point where Herbstreit moved out of the state of Ohio. Kurt Herbstreit doesn't live in Ohio anymore.
Yeah.
His son just went to Michigan. Now, not that Michigan's not a great school and a great football program. Kurt Herbstreit, who played quarterback at Ohio State, who was as Buckeye through and through, professional at what he does, I respect him. His son went to Michigan, just committed to sign with Michigan. He got ran out of his state. He just didn't like the atmosphere that he and his family were in.
No.
That's too far, man.
It's all got, I mean, there's too much of that going on. I mean, you heard about, too, and the Campbell for the Detroit Lions, he sold his house.
How about that?
He had to move out of it because of threats and vandalism and all that jazz. What is happening, people?
Yeah.
Like, what do you
Let's hit the 3 games tomorrow. Take a break. Hopefully, we'll do some trivia here toward the end of the show. Game 1, Arkansas, Texas. I think that's the 1 o'clock game tomorrow. We won't be on the air tomorrow, so let's quickly talk about it. Obviously, for Arizona State to win that game, Scooby-Doo, which I call him Scooby-Doo, Scattaboo, Scooby-Doo's got to control the game. I don't think Arizona State can pop off points with Texas. I like Texas in that ball game. It's been a fun story.
I mean, the number's 12.5.
Yeah.
I think the only reason Arizona State is where they're at because they won their conference and they had to be the 4 seed.
Sure. By rule, it says you're conference champion,
That's
ranked
just
highest.
That's the way it sets
top
up.
four,
right now.
top 4 gets a bye. Do you like Texas in that?
I like Texas winning the whole thing.
You know, I've watched Georgia beat Texas twice, and even after the other night, I still think Texas is the best team playing. And that makes no sense. I've seen Georgia beat them, and Georgia's beat them pretty good in 8 quarters.
Yeah.
But and how weird would it be if they play again, by the way, it has to be in a championship. They can't play before then.
Yeah, I looked at the brackets today.
But Texas could beat them, go 1-2, but you got to win the right game.
That's
Same with March Madness.
It's happened before, too.
And it's happened in March Madness. So we both agree we like Texas. Most people do like Texas. Arizona State's a fun story. Scooby-Doo's fun. God, he's big and strong, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
All right, the midday game. The game at 5 o'clock in the Rose Bowl, because if you want to know why Georgia and Notre Dame are playing at 8:45, don't blame those guys. Blame the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl always twists people's arm. They want the 5 o'clock time slot.
Single year.
They've had it for years, and they want the time slot. That's why you can't start that third game much earlier than 8:45. Middle game is a rematch. Ohio State and Oregon tomorrow, the middle game of 3. Oregon beat them the first time in a hell of a game.
Can you believe Oregon went from a 1.5 point dog to 2.5? I don't know what the latest line is.
What does that tell you? Not a great better. What does that tell you? The money went on.
The money's
going on.
It's going against Oregon.
Okay.
Which is
my concern.
I don't see it.
2 weeks ago, I'd have picked. If you said this is the matchup, I'd go Oregon's going to get them again. Oregon. Did Ohio State get awakened though? Did they get awakened a little bit? You know, they've gone through so much. They've lost to their rival. That was a crushing loss. Was that a wake you up loss? You know,
I
don't know.
It wouldn't be the first time.
I don't know.
I could say that. So
I don't know. I think Ohio State may get them.
It's just Oregon's undefeated. The only undefeated team left,
only one.
And it's so hard.
Now, are we suffering from not seeing Oregon as much as we see other teams?
Good point.
We just don't see them unless you really go out of your way. You don't see them. They don't play in that time slot. It's
got to be a night owl. You got to be a night owl.
They catch them. I caught the Ohio State Oregon game. I think that was a nooner because it was played around 3:30 our time. I think it was noon around. Yeah. I'm going to go with Ohio State in that game. I don't have a preference. Georgia, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, are they one of the best 12 teams, I guess? I still don't know from 1,000 miles away looking in, using all the parameters, how did Notre Dame even get in the playoff? They played a horrid schedule. Horrid. And they had the ugliest loss of anybody in the tournament by a mile.
Was that game 1 or 2?
Northern Illinois 2, I think. Yeah. 2 or 3. I like Georgia in that game. I think Georgia's defense is going to win that game for them.
Notre Dame looked good, though.
Uh-huh.
They did look.
They run it.
So, I don't know.
They run it.
But Kirby Smart, defensive guy.
Yeah.
So,
and I tell you, boy, it looked like that Georgia team really loves Gunnar Stockton. When Beck went out in the second half, that Georgia team was possessed, man.
Is this the third version of backup quarterback coming in for Georgia and winning a natty?
Wow.
Stetson Bennett was one, right?
Yeah, Eason was the starter, got hurt. This guy named Fromm steps in and never gave up the job. Wow.
I mean,
wow.
And then
I'll tell you what.
Was Bennett the same thing, right?
I think so. I think
somebody got hurt.
Yeah, I think one of the, because remember, for the longest time, Georgia had 3 5-stars in that room.
And they all kept leaving.
Yeah.
You know what? Whatever.
They signed some. Who do you like in that game? Georgia, Notre Dame. The night game tomorrow, the late game tomorrow.
My gosh.
By the way, Illinois has scored a touchdown. They lead, starting to get late in the third quarter, 14-10 over South Carolina.
Beaver doesn't look happy.
No, he's been bitching the whole game, hasn't he? He really has. Georgia, minus Beck. He's got a lot of – I've never been enamored with Carson Beck. He does have a lot of experience, so he's played a lot of football. Gunnar Stockton has not.
Well, and I think it comes down to that because this is an enormous game. And are they just gonna ask him to manage a game? Just don't lose it for us?
Yeah.
Or is it gonna be, hey, we gotta take some chances? ND is 1.5 point dog.
Even without Georgia's quarterback.
Yeah, which I did not understand. But to your point, soft schedule. But Notre Dame can chew clock too.
Yeah. Well, real quick, let me jump in. I'm seeing 3rd and goal, Washington with the football, down 7 against Louisville, 35-28. 15 seconds remaining, 3rd and goal from the Louisville 1. And if they get into, they go for 2, or they just get it overtime?
100% go for 2.
They go to overtime.
Then that would be a Louisville cover,
yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. Let's take our last break. We may or may not have our fun trivia. I've got a couple more trivia questions if our man Trivia Pat doesn't show up, and we'll put a wrap on this. We'll put a wrap on our last show until Thursday. We'll come hit a couple topics, tie things together. Trent Torchia's here. I'm Terry Norvelle. Glad you're with us here on a Tuesday. You know it by now. We're deep in the heart of Mandarin at Hurricane Joint Creek.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Rick's Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Rick's Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Rick's Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Yeah, as we take a good-looking shot over the river downtown Jacksonville. Good-looking shot there. It's not too cold, but cold is coming. Trent Torchia's is here. I'm Terry Norvelle. We're set up at Hurricane in Jointon Creek. Trent, you've heard the phrase generally on a playground, hey, play nice, right? Generally, kids are being told to play nice. Man,
always.
Shane Beamer, head coach South Carolina, and now Brett Bielema, head coach Illinois, play nice and respect their coaching staffs. Something got these guys hot late in the third quarter. South Carolina is at the 1 yard line trying to score and go ahead. And I mean, these two coaching staffs and teams have been separated, and I don't know what got Beamer. He's been hot the whole game.
He's been hot the entire game. He's been running up and down the sidelines, ranting and raving. And
man,
who knows?
We'll dig into this, but at one point, it looked like what really set Beamer off, the South Carolina head coach, as Illinois just stuffed the running attempt, and that may get us into the fourth quarter. So it'll be second goal.
Yeah.
At one point, the teams were about halfway on the field. I don't know what precipitated it, Illinois and South Carolina, and it looked like Illinois head coach Brett Bielema, who, by the way, was at Arkansas.
Yes.
Got some SEC roots.
Yeah.
It looked like he was popping off in the general direction of the South Carolina team and or South Carolina staff. And that set Beamer and his guys off. And did you see 2 or 3 of the assistant coaches for South Carolina held Beamer back? One of the assistant coaches,
he was going nuts.
He was going nuts
Yeah.
to his crowd. Man, I don't know what. They got a mat on with each other right now.
Yeah.
Woo!
And they got an entire quarter to go.
An entire quarter to go. Let's see if we can recap some stuff. It looks like Washington scored to go up down 35-34. They must have gone for 2 or missed the extra point because Louisville's showing they've got the ball. It's like Louisville will be able to end the game. And we'll try. Let me see if I can get a game cast here. We don't have that game dialed up. Shame on me. I should have dialed that up. But I'm assuming. Let me see if I can get down here. 2-point conversion failed. So Washington went for the win. And you know what? I can live with that.
You have to.
Can't you? Washington, relatively new coach there, because obviously Kellen DeBoer. Isn't that where DeBoer came from?
Yeah.
The new coach. They hired. I think they got the guy from Arizona.
They lost a
Jet
lot of
Fish.
They lost a lot of players too.
So tip of the hat. Looks like they missed the 2-point conversion. Washington has outscored Louisville 13-0 in the fourth quarter, but they're going to come up a point short of tying that ball game. Let's see.
Louisville covers that.
How about that? Louisville gets the cover. South Carolina and Illinois, they've gone to commercial heading to the fourth quarter. South Carolina on what? The 1-yard line. It'll be goal to go, I think second goal. South Carolina trailing 14-10 in that ball game. They're just getting underway in the third quarter. LSU has doubled up Baylor 34-17. So you would think Nussmeier and those boys are lighting it up. This will be another one of those situations where LSU will end the season looking good. They get their quarterback, Nussmeier, who's been in college, 15, 18 years?
Whatever it is, yeah.
That'll help them preseason, though.
They'll 3 degrees.
Yes, they'll be ranked high because they've got a returning quarterback with a lot of experience. So it looks like LSU is going to close that out. We've talked about the 3 games tomorrow, and we've talked about tonight's game. 12-2 Penn State, 12-1 Boise. And you hit it earlier. Let's get back to it. It's almost unfair for James Franklin tonight in this aspect. And I want you to comment on this, Trent. A win tonight moves Penn State. It'd be a big win. If Penn State wins, don't get me wrong. Big win, they go to the semifinals. They will be in the Final Four.
Yeah.
That'll be a nice win. That will not be anywhere near a bigger win than if Penn State loses for James Franklin. That would be a crushing loss because he's carrying around that. You just can't win the big game. Would you agree with that? The
100%.
loss would be way bigger than the win in a weird roundabout way.
No, I said it earlier. I think tenfold if they lose, because they try to, big game James. He's not big game James because he's not won.
Yeah.
When you say meaningful, that's probably the wrong answer. But you know where I'm going.
I mean, he's like, 2-15 against top 15 or 20 team, whatever it is.
And that's, or top 10 teams, or whatever the answer is. So, you sit there and you look at it and you go, you got what you consider the most favorable matchup in this bowl series.
Really did.
The
SMU.
playoff series.
SMU right out of the gate.
Handled them mightily. Now you got Boise State. You and I agree, if you can contain the running game, the quarterback's got to beat you. probably doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But if this game stays close, it could be one busted tackle.
Oh, absolutely.
Away from Boise State
and
taking it to the house.
Genty goes 80 on your ass.
78 yards
with 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
He goes 80 on your ass. And to defend Franklin a little bit, he didn't set this bracket and all, but in a roundabout way, last week or round 1, because Penn State had to play, Franklin didn't get enough credit as a big win because SMU is not a brand, right? You just beat SMU in round 1 of the playoffs. But if that was Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Franklin would have got a wow, attaboy. Yeah. A lot of people still went, you know what, that was a Johnny-come-lately SMU. And you can kind of say that in a weird way. Pass that will be, is that a touchdown? It looks like it'll stand. South Carolina receiver got his foot down, so it looks like South Carolina will jump ahead. If they win tonight, Penn State, and Franklin gets a win, it'll be kind of the same way, particularly in a weird way if it's a blowout. Franklin could blow out Boise State, and the blowout would work against him a little bit. Well, he got SMU, and then obviously Boise didn't deserve to be here, right? He always needs to win 39-38, and people go, damn, Boise was good.
Really good. They were competitive.
That's not fair, is it, though, is it?
Well, but they're an 11-point favorite.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You can't win.
Yeah.
So how does that work? You win by a point because then you're 11-point favorite.
Yeah.
You should have blown them out.
Yes.
So,
it does hurt.
The script.
It does hurt that Penn State, James Franklin with Penn State, they could win their first 2 playoff games, get to the Final Four, and not have a brand win. You know what I mean? A brand win.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from SMU or Boise.
They both had great seasons.
But he doesn't have hardly any brand wins, right? He's fumbled against Ohio State. He's fumbled against Michigan. He's fumbled when they go out of the Big Ten in bowl game. Penn State just doesn't win. They just don't win that big one.
No, and that's on his resume. He was in trouble last year.
Yep.
I mean, they were like, you know what? Do we bring this guy back or not? And obviously they did, but.
All right.
I got another one for you.
What do you got?
That you put on the list.
Like it.
FSU hoops.
What about the brewing controversy of NIL promise, not promise? What are your thoughts on that? Leonard Hamilton being accused of not coming through on his verbal financial promise to some players via NIL. Do you have a stance on that? Do you feel one way or the other?
Is it on Leonard Hamilton or is it on the university? I mean, what these schools are doing now is they're setting up NIL foundations.
Collectives, yeah. They're supposed to not be involved at all, but collectives,
yeah. They are.
Yeah, sure they are.
And it's now become sport related too.
Sure.
So like, I want my money to go to baseball. I want my money to go to women's volleyball.
What are your thoughts on that? It just came out.
I think it's more on the university than it is on the coach. Because the coach, my guess, is Leonard Hamilton's a very respectful guy.
Yeah.
He's been around for a long time. He's never been in trouble, with the NCAA in terms of recruiting or any of that stuff. I think he was probably, my guess is there's money allocated. It didn't come through because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
It almost sounds like that because the word lie is a strong word for a guy 70 years old with the history that Leonard Hamilton has. He said he's been a pretty straight shooter. I look at this as one of two ways. I'm not sure where it's going to land. Did the NIL structure fail in this situation, or did Leonard Hamilton, I don't want to say lie, did he get misled and got caught in? It almost seems like he might have got misled in terms of honestly thinking the funding was there. Yeah. Well, Leonard, and you talk, I've had many sales business meetings where, gosh, I think we just left with a verbal. I think we just cut a deal. And when push comes to shove, we didn't
Time
cut
for
a
the
deal.
signature.
We didn't come. Oh, time for the check to be cut.
Because the ink's not
And,
dry.
well, yeah. I'm thinking and I'm hoping that's where it's at. I've had him on a few times on different shows. Pretty good guy, straight shooter. But I think it feels like Leonard Hamilton through a collective, because the schools right now until July can't be divvying out. It will go to the schools. They'll make it a lot cleaner when the schools handle it in July.
Yeah.
Because the schools will get $20 million as their salary cap. I think that's what's happened. I think Leonard got talking to some people, and he said he was confident some of his booster people were going to put chunks of money in NIL collective for basketball. He then promised, and the money wasn't there. I think that's what happened. I'm gonna hope that's what happened. I like Leonard Hamilton, and he's at the end of his career. He's obviously going to retire.
It would be hard to root against that.
Yeah.
His track record's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, what he's done for Florida State basketball has been phenomenal.
Do you have anything else? I've got a couple of trivia here. I only got one or two more, but I do think trivia Pat is off today. It just dawned on me it's a holiday, and I think he's probably taking today off. So we threw out the what year within 10 did the first time the New York City had the ball drop. That was 1907. I'm going to throw one out, and this is a very timely, I'm going to give you a clue, timely as in tonight, timely, simple one, real simple, and I would have missed this. Who is Spencer Danielson? Very timely. I'm going to give you a clue. Very, very timely, as in tonight, timely. Who is Spencer Danielson? And I would have missed this.
The founder of New Year's Eve.
The head football coach at Boise State. How about that? How about that? Huh? I would have missed that. Spencer Danielson took over as the interim. Remember, it was Chris Peterson for the longest time. He did great things.
Yeah, now you feel like a bigger idiot.
No, I would.
Oh my God!
I said I would have missed that if you'd asked me.
But you said it. But it's an easy question.
Yeah, but I just that's tough. That I think that's tough. So that's one. This is a little vague, but I think it's true. This date, 1967. Okay, on this sports question, 1967. Arguably, but I think this is true. The biggest game played by a local Jacksonville athlete. And it is an NFL game. What was the name of the game? 1967, this date, NFL, that involved a Jacksonville native. The biggest game, I think, a Jacksonville native, most historic game a Jacksonville native has ever played in. And Jacksonville natives have played in World Series. They've played in Super Bowls. It's not that. It's not that. It's not. It's a tough one. This is a tough one. It's NFL. It's NFL.
The biggest game.
I'll give you the player. Bob Hayes played in what I think would be the big.
Field.
No, played in the game, not an event. Nope.
Oh,
you got it
with the Cowboys
with the Ice Bowl.
Yeah.
This date, 1967.
I would have gotten Ice Bowl.
That's probably the biggest game a Jacksonville native.
Yeah.
That is arguably, literally one of the 5 most historic NFL games in the history of the sport, I would say. The Ice Bowl, the great Packers versus Cowboys. Bob Hayes, Bullet Bob, standing as a wide receiver, tipping off plays, but nobody cared. It was so cold. If it was a running play, he had his hands in his pants, right? Trying to stay warm so you could tell. Bullet Bob Hayes. All right, we got 2 minutes left. I got one more. Okay. Within, it's non-sports, within 1 billion, I'm giving you a billion leeway, okay? 1 billion. Either or.
Okay, I can't even fathom that.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau estimates, as of tomorrow, within 1 billion, what is the world's population going to be? The world population. I'll give you a billion on either side.
I don't even want to embarrass myself.
Okay. We got 1 minute and 50 seconds.
35 billion.
No, you're a little high. It will be 8.09. 8 billion. according to the U.S. Census.
A little high.
On tomorrow, not too bad. And get this. Worldwide, there are 4.2 births and 2.0 deaths every second in the world. Every second in the world. And 2024, the world population to get to 8 billion, 2024, this year that we just wrapped up, the population increased by 71 million people. Meaning the plus 9.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's encouraging.
we had 71 million more born than died. How about that? Worldwide, every second, there are 4.2 people born and 2 people die every second of every day, of every minute, of every tick, 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 tick. 8 billion people running around this earth right now and counting.
I said 35.
That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all. We'll get there. We'll get there. You play a couple of romantic movies, you'll get there.
Just don't do the math on that.
Yeah. There you go. That'll wrap it up. Trent, thanks for sitting in. Got 30 seconds. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Good football the rest of the day. Keep an eye on the South Carolina game. This thing is really heating up. Illinois trying to go back in front. And then, of course, the big game tonight and 3 big games tomorrow leading us into, don't forget, NFL weekend, final regular season. That'll do it. I want to thank everybody, including Patrick Young. Folks, have a safe evening if you're going out. If not, stay safe at home. Enjoy yourself. And we'll get back together on Thursday for another edition of the Young and Norvelle Show on Action Sports Jacks.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Rick's Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Rick's Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Rick's Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jacks app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jacks Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.